All right, so it's been a little bit of time since the release of Betaflight 4.4 and 4.41 and 4.42. There's been a little bit of stuff here and there that had to get fixed up along the way. Betaflight 4.5 is on the cusp potentially of its release coming up here. So with that, let's check out the 5 biggest things in the Betaflight 4.5 release. So here's one I know Chris Thompson has feverishly been working on because I subscribe to his YouTube channel and I see the posts and but he's been feverishly continuing to improve GPS rescue mode and how it flies back using no magnetometer and how it deals with, how smoothly it flies back and all that kind of stuff. So GPS rescue mode in 4.4.0 was pretty, it worked, but it was a little rough sometimes, a little wobbly, shaky, depending on the different quad types. So he's been kind of optimizing that. That's continued here in 4.5 rescue mode. Pitch smoothing and how it disarms should be improved. Chris is always great for writing a ton of stuff for his PR. So if you want to read any of this, again, link down below, and you can check all his description out in there. And he goes through all the painstakingly little things he's added and changed in there. So good stuff, Chris. Thanks very much. Alrighty then, another big one. Bunch of angle and horizon mode improvements by Chris Thompson. So this was a subsequent, and I don't even know if that last stuff got merged in, but I did a previous video, and I'll make a link to that down in the video description. You want to check that out, specifically timestamped to the right spot, where we talked about the angle mode and horizon, I think it was just angle mode improvements that dealt with y'all from Chris Rosser. I'd have to check to see if those got into 4.4 or not. But this is a continuation of that and makes all kinds of other improvements. And if you thought the write-up was long in the last one, check this out. Oh, there we go. So yeah, lots to read in here, lots going on for this. So if you're using angle or horizon mode, expect to see some improvements already merged into 4.5. So it's all there. And then, yeah, there's some new variables and stuff, but I'm sure just right out of the box. There is some quick setup snippets here. So I would check this out. Again, link down in the description. If you are going to be toying with this in the official release or, something prior to that, yeah, check it out. And there's Expo and feed forward and all kinds of stuff there in angle mode now. Pretty cool. All right, out of GPS lap timer. So this was one I covered previously. It looks like it didn't make it into any of the 4.4s, but it is in a 4.5. So if you have some GPS on your racing quad, or throw it onto there, and then you can give a cool lap timer. You can check out, again, this video down in the description. And it shows you have basically, you can make a little, you just don't need all that to make a lap timer. You can just use the GPS on your quad and it knows when it passes a certain location in space, and then it will take up a lap for you on that. And it does have some level of accuracy. So obviously the more satellites you have, the more accurate it's going to be. It's meant for practicing. It's not meant for like official race certification kind of stuff. But yeah, pretty neat little thing. Because you don't need any extra equipment other than a little GPS module to get your lap times. And then you just have to make sure that where you're doing the gate, it's not like in the midst of all kinds of other little gates, that it's kind of out by itself. So the start gate's out farther a little bit and you come back around to it to make sure it's as accurate as it can be. Pretty neat. This one's a pretty cool one. It's an RPM limiter. So for spec racing, and Yvan Lemon did a whole video on this, and he has it in his CAC special build, so you can check it out. I'll make a link to this PR course down there, and then yeah, you can also make a link to Yvan's video. You can check out his, where he kind of talks about it and how to use it, and so you can read down through this sucker. It's got some good explanation, and then time stamped right to the spot in his video. The lead lag comparator, what is that? Whoa. This PR implements a lead lag comparator, LLC. It uses to improve the frequency response of the system by pushing it or pulling it out of phase in the selected frequency range around the center frequency. This enables us to basically get rid of delay or to introduce delay in particular frequency select. What the frick does that
What is a leak lag comparator? Oh, he's getting deep. Oh, well, I will have to read more about this. Got a whole YouTube video. Oh boy. Let's see what Karate Bot is. Oh yeah, this guy's the bomb. Compensators, comparator, compensator. I said comparators. It's compensators. It's not comparators. You know, it's hard getting good help these days. Yeah, I'll have to read some more into this and see what wizardry Karate Bot is cooking up on this sucker. See if there's a. I know there's a lot of phase shift at a notch, but it's usually a higher frequency, so we don't care so much. But yeah, some more filter stuff. So you want to check this out again, link down in the description. This is the one I mentioned previously where the ERPM or RPM data is now just recorded by default in Blackbox, so you can see those fields. If you're in Blackbox Explorer, you would select the RPM, I think, values for debug modes, and you could add those underneath your motors, so you can kind of see what you're sending and actually when the motors are changing by then. You might be pretty surprised at how long it takes between when the motor commands get issued versus when the motor RPM actually changes. So then check those out when we start talking about all this latency stuff and how people can feel microseconds of D-shot difference. And then it takes the motors like 20 milliseconds, which is like 20,000 microseconds. It kind of makes you chuckle. So anyways, check that out. And you get some reality on what is really the limiting factor on feel. It's how fast your motors can actually change, and obviously the weight of your quad and things like that. So yeah, check that out. Now, if you thought that was interesting, check out the links down below to a Patreon video released last week of 15 additional items, so 20 in all, that I thought was interesting for the new release of Betaflight 4.5. These 5 were probably the biggest that I would say from like a high level, but there is a bunch of other little cool things in the release coming up that you might think is pretty cool. It depends how down in the details you get and what features you use of the program. So hopefully we'll see you over there. But thanks everybody. I hope this helped.